Now you've got an additional problem. It's not just catching the rotor RPM before it drops too low. It's, where am I going to land? If you have airspeed, whether you're low level, high level, in between, cyclic back, pitch down. Cyclic back, collective down, same thing, pitch, collective. Airspeed doesn't matter. Next priority, which has to happen right away in low-level flying, and especially in ENG law enforcement and similar types of helicopter applications that require you to be low enough to see what's going on in the ground. There's no landing area obvious in front of you. There you are, anywhere in a metropolitan area where you have the complexity of vehicles, people, sidewalks, traffic in every direction, buildings. Picture yourself anywhere close to or over the downtown area of any major city. And without any warning, you've lost power to the rotor, without any warning. When that occurs to you, by surprise, while you're patrolling over an area like a downtown, a congested area, the question is, where are you going to land? Number one, do not try and fix the problem. You don't have time for that. Don't think about looking at the panel. If it's not shaking so badly you can't even read it, but don't bother looking at the panel, trying to figure out what the problem is and try to fix it as you are descending. You don't have the time. If you're at 5,000 feet and you're going to be descending 2,000 feet a minute, something like that in autorotation, and you got the aircraft rotor RPM somewhere in the green, and everything's fine, and you have time to look at the gauges, look at the switches and the knobs and levers, and oh my gosh, and then you find something that for some reason you forgot to do somewhere during the climb, and you fix it, and all of a sudden you've got power back to the rotor system. Wonderful. But in the typical altitudes that we fly on jobs for thousands of helicopter operators, you don't have any altitude. You don't have the time. Something has gone wrong. You got the cyclic back and restored rotor RPM before you lost it forever. And now, what are you going to do? You're a glider. You can maneuver, you can stop, you can back up, you can go sideways, you can turn around, as long as you keep the collective down and the aircraft is descending vertically in some way with air coming up through the rotor system. You're in an autorotation. Okay, good. Your job now is, now that you've established the auto, where are you going to land? Pick a place to land. It could be behind you, off to the side. Oh, there's a rooftop helipad. I'll land on that. Don't even think about it. It's tough enough to land on a rooftop heliport in downtown Los Angeles, especially, where there's just room on the top of the building for a helicopter pad, and that's it. Nothing else. And you think you're going to come in and be able to stop any forward motion and not slide off to the street 44 floors below? Don't even think about it. Well, how about a park? Yeah, park. There, look down. Look, there's a park. And there's mothers and kids and toys and people splashing in a pond. You're going to land in the middle of that civilization, that population down there. Somebody's going to get hurt or worse. Don't even think about it. Pick some place where you feel you can come in and land without hurting people or making your situation worse. There are places down there. It might be right in front of you, but it might have been something you just passed over 10 seconds ago. Oh, well, no, it's not too late. Rotor's in the green. Collective down. Your cyclic works fine. Make a U-turn or stop and turn around. As long as you're willing to continue to descend, the helicopter is happy. You can back up, you can go sideways, you can change your mind, as long as your wings remain attached, which means that they are turning within the green range somewhere. Your RPM, rotor RPM is somewhere in the green. You've got a flying machine. Does it mean that you're going to crash the moment the rotor is below the low green? No, it doesn't. Because the point of no return, the point where recovery is impossible, is not marked on any rotor tack. You never think about going there in real life with no engine to bring it back up. So it doesn't exist. Your limit is low green. This shows you how old I am because this is an analog gauge. I know that half of you watching this video are used to vertical gauges, and you can't be colorblind these days flying the latest instrument panels. The instruments mean nothing. The rotor is everything. Nothing else matters. But there always is some place to land. There's some place below you, no matter where you are, in LA or San Francisco or New York or Berlin or wherever. When the engine quits, immediately, as soon as the cyclic is aft, followed by or simultaneously by the collective being lowered, the next thing I want you to do is pick a place to land. There's some place. What about troubleshooting the problem? Shouldn't I be looking at the panel and maybe which lights are blinking and all that? Shouldn't I try and restore power? And the answer is no. Don't even think about it. Your job may be measured in less than 60 seconds from the time you have the ship under control until you have contacted the ground or water, depending on what you do and how quickly you do it. So the first thing is cyclic back. The second thing is collective down, simultaneously or immediately thereafter. The third thing is look outside and figure out where you're going to land. Pick a place to land and make that spot. Final comment. At that point, when you look outside and pick a place to land, up to that point, you're not hurt. The ship hasn't crashed. It's functional. We have one more step that's very important that is not emphasized in our training programs, is not done, but you have to do it. And that is, you've got to eliminate as much as you can the ground speed you have at the termination of the autorotation. That's the final step.